Great to have you here
Welcome to the podcast.
with me and my guests from around the world. Welcome to the Simone Feiler podcast.
Welcome to this podcast.
Let's get into it, shall we? On the Simone Feiler podcast. Fresh out of the studio, recording Adam Bowcutt's audiobook, Confide, the new psychology of confidence. Adam, thanks so much for choosing Brisbane Audiobook Production to record your audiobook.
You are welcome. It's been so fun. I really appreciate you helping me to create the audiobook.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for choosing me to do it with. How was being in the booth for you recording?
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. It was so much fun because I didn't know what to expect before I came here, and just the experience, just the whole process of it was really good fun, and it was really well organized, and got through it. It definitely more tiring than I expected.
Yeah.
But yeah, putting all my passion and energy into it. Yeah, Simone, you helped with getting a bit of energy back with some nice sweets and nice candy there. So that definitely helped.
That's hilarious. And me too. I'm really happy to hear that. Well, I thought you did a really fantastic job, and there were certainly some moments in there where I took my breath away thinking, oh, wow, that is so profound what you've managed to condense in such a short sentence there that I've been looking at for like a couple of years on different channels on YouTube and different audio I've listened to. You've certainly been able to condense some of those things into very punchy, short, grabbing, yes, I get that, sentences. Did it, well, I was actually going to ask you firstly about recording, and I'm going to get to that, but did it give you a different perspective or a different outlook on your book, doing it in audio?
Yeah, 100%. The difference is that hearing it spoken with your own spoken word in context and being recorded and clearly articulated with sound, it makes a massive difference compared to just reading it in your mind, because it's it gets it out there. It's a different sort of energy, and it sounds better. I really love reading, and it's definitely a great format. At the same time, after this experience and after recording the audiobook for my book Confide, it's made me appreciate this format even more. More people, I can imagine, they're a bit more time poor, they're very busy, and with an audiobook, I know it's going to be a great asset to be able to get the message out there for more people. And it's especially even for myself, my experience of it is that you're actually hearing it from the author's mouth.
Yeah.
And so it's good from that perspective. In addition, I enjoy doing it as well. So I hope that that comes through, and I'm glad you say that it's I've managed to put it into a bit more punchy, condensed these messages, and I really appreciate you helping to put it out there for more people to listen to.
Yeah, well, I was saying to you, they should be teaching this stuff at schools, and definitely through your book, because it's really easy to understand. Some of the things that I've been thinking, I don't know if I really get that, but you've kind of condensed them where I think, that's exactly what it is. And how could you just get that down in one sentence?
Oh, excellent. No, I really appreciate that. Definitely, because that's something that I've had to learn as well, because in the past, communication is so important as well. And that's something that it's a daily practice. It's learning, and it's 50-50. You've got communication between two people.
Yeah.
And once you can get your message out, and this is a really important message. I'm glad you recommended and suggested for it to get into schools, and I'm definitely going to promote that more, because it definitely help more people and help younger people, and literally help save lives from suicide as well, because mental health and depression, it's massive, and it is a huge problem, and I'm going to do my very best to help reduce that and help others, and that's definitely something that can get out there more with the platform of audio and audiobooks as well, and having that simple, clear message.
500,000 is your target of lives to save within the next 60 years, and that is a legendary, and I can imagine it's going to be a tough mission to complete. But the world needs more people like you, Adam Bowcutt.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm going to, as I said, you'll listen to it in the audiobook. It's a lot of it is about choosing leadership yourself, self-development, and creating more leaders as well. So you'll listen more about that, and it's an exciting time. At the same time, that is a massive challenge, and that's what gives me energy to get up every single morning to serve others and do. And this mission is 60 years. So it's a long-term mission, and I'm never going to give up on the mission to do that. And I'll keep going and keep going and keep going. And yes.
Thank you. And I'm sure I'm not alone saying thank you. I had a friend that suicided at the end of 2016, and look, I would have done anything to save him. And in hindsight, he probably dropped hints, and I was probably not in the best frame. But there's other people, obviously, and after COVID, that are going to be feeling really bad, and you have got the answer in your book to help save their lives.
Definitely. There's lots and lots of pointers in there to education, for knowledge, for strategies to help yourself, your mindset, and also to help others as well. And being aware, and it's having that knowledge as well. And the key word I would say is awareness as well. Yeah. So it's interesting. You did say you didn't quite potentially pick up on things that your friend was saying or doing or not doing.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's having a bit of a compassion for yourself as well, because we're all important in our own rights. At the same time, from my own personal experience, I got very good at hiding my feelings and thoughts because I didn't want it to potentially burden other people. At the same time, now looking back, I'm grateful for my horrible experience I had, because I was on the precipice of potentially taking my own life, and I'm so glad I didn't, because my mission now, my vision is to help others not do that, because I've got a son, a 5-year-old son. He'll be 6 soon, and if I'd have done that, he would have had a father.
Yeah.
And I can see this, with COVID, there was even a study, a projection of, and it's horrible to say, but it's reality, potentially 150,000 extra lives lost potentially because of that, and mental health issues. So it is a massive problem, and I'm doing what I can in my power and control to help others to have a better life and not make that decision. And there's that, there's more to it than that. It's a very complex issue. I don't want to kind of take anything away from that, but at the same time, it's like breaking an arm. You can actually see that.
Yes.
When you've got a broken mind or a mental illness or mental health, even in addition to this potential stigma of it, you can't actually see it.
Yeah, and you can't see it yourself.
No,
you're there.
You cannot because you're in it.
Yeah,
that's the problem. That's why you definitely get that awareness. Read, listen to audiobooks, or even like get some education on mental health. For example, you've got Beyond Blue. They've got some good
Lifeline as well.
Lifeline as well, which is a charity I'm helping as well. So yeah. And my favourite quote is, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others.
Yeah, that's cool. Because that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about helping each other at the end of the day, because we're all really one thing, aren't we?
Yeah, 100%. and when more people start to understand that, realise it, and not just on an intellectual level, more emotionally and potentially spiritually as well. Yeah, so that can that's definitely going to change things. And at the moment, with the pandemic, it's people are starting to be forced to pause and think and sit for a while. And when people, it's definitely something that I'm hoping for. I can see that more and more people are, as you said, waking up and starting to realize and understand and feel that we need to help each other more.
Yeah.
And I'm optimistic about it, and it's going to be good.
Yeah, I agree. So how did it all then point to writing your book?
Yeah, good question. So I've always wanted to write a book, and it always used to be, right, maybe I'll do it, in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, when I get around to it. It's one of those things, I will do it eventually.
Yeah.
But then,
I'm
gonna. What happened was, which sped up the process, because I knew my mission was strong. I wanted to have a vehicle or a platform that can help get the message across. At the same time, what sped it up was that I attended an event in Brisbane, and one of the speakers presented a weekend boot camp course on how to write a book.
Right.
And you kind of presented it, it made it a lot simpler and clearer to be able to do it than what my initial thought of it would be. I think, writing a book, I don't know where to start, it's going to take ages. And then he presented it in a way, we can teach you how and give you knowledge on how to write a book, the benefits of it. And then I just took action, and that was probably one of the best decisions I've made, was to buy and pay for that course. It wasn't too expensive, but at the same time, it was a bit more than I was willing to pay. But then I thought, I'm going to do it.
YOLO.
YOLO. Exactly. What's going to be different? I thought to myself, what's going to be different between now and 5, 10, 15 years? I'm still going to want to write a book.
Wow.
I might as well do it. So I took action. I did it. And I'm so glad I did, because I went to the
that speaks volumes for your book as well.
Exactly. It's practicing what I preach. I actually I did it. I learned how to do it. Then I did it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's not easy. It's really difficult. It's really challenging to write the book. But at the same time, I'm so glad I did it. It was a huge process. It took quite a long time. It took longer than I expected. I actually gave myself a really ridiculous time goal. And look, in hindsight now, it was ridiculous. At the same time, I actually thought I could do it. I said I was going to do it in 3 months. I know, exactly. I was like, right, I'm going to do it.
And all the authors laughed.
Exactly. And it ended up taking, probably like 18 months.
That's still outstanding.
I know. Because I initially set it up for 3 months, but then it ended up 18 months.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Well, round of applause
Thank
for
you.
that.
I really appreciate it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
18 months. Right. Well, I've listened to lots of and watched lots of work about self-healing, spending many, many hours soaking it in. In fact, if I don't do it every day, I kind of get withdrawal symptoms, something's missing. Like I was saying earlier, when I was talking about how you felt in there, the beauty in your book, Adam, is that you've managed to condense so many insightful topics into almost bullet points. It's about gratitude. It's about thankfulness. It's about meditation. It's about, I said to you yesterday, did you channel this thing?
Yeah. True. It's interesting you said that, because it's all in the process as well of actually taking that first step, and then the setting a bit of a plan, and then adjusting it. I ended up enjoying the process, but it was a challenge at the same time. The activity and action was reinforcing me to get momentum to move forward and do it. For me, being able to condense the messages was really important, because I was empathizing with myself in the past of how I found it difficult when I was coming out of depression. I didn't have much confidence. I literally found it very difficult to even read one sentence, because my brain and mind was, with the mental health was low confidence.
Wow.
So for me, I wanted to empathize with others and the reader, to make sure that it could be really clear, really easy to understand, really accessible, and clear messages that could be taken away and acted upon. That made it definitely a challenge. At the same time, I know that structuring and communication is really important to get the message across. And I'm still learning myself as well. And I mentioned as well, I sometimes read my book to remind myself of the key messages, because it's good to have repetition and read the messages again and again, so that they embed into you.
That's another thing, as I said, with the schools thing. I think it's really important. I think your book would be a great subject at school, and I think it's very punchy and straight to the point, that kids come out with low self-esteem. There's heaps of bullying going on. There's always down talk. I'm too fat, I'm too ugly, my hair's not blonde enough, and all this blah, 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 blah. To have, the kids understand the correct way of thinking, you don't actually have to negatively self-speak to yourself, would just be invaluable and make the world such a better place if we all came, we all start out when we're young, all thinking we're all this, that and the other when we're little, until you get to school, and then you start thinking, I'm not all that. But if we could carry on during the schooling years to feel like we're actually worthy and we are good and, we mean something, then it would just make such a difference to our lives and the people around us, their lives as well.
Definitely.
So how are you going to get your book into the school, Adam?
Yeah, definitely. Good suggestion. And I definitely will focus on that as well. And I really appreciate that suggestion, because I'm going to live to 100.
Yes.
I've got many, many years, 60 years of this. So I'm going to have a strategy as well. I'm going to make sure I will focus on schools as well, because I'd like to promote the book, audiobook, and also public speaking as well, and do some more speaking events in schools and to other people, companies, schools, organizations, just to get the messages out to as many people as possible. But I do agree with you, it will definitely help and is needed, because there is a problem in schools at the moment as well. With low self-esteem, with mental health problems and challenges, and also young people taking their own lives. It's tragic. So and it's preventable. If I can do anything in my control and my power to help others, then I'm definitely there, and I will do that.
That's wicked. Okay, so you cover all the important stuff, like we've just talked about: self-healing, concepts from self-care, self-love, compassion, integrity, creativity, knowledge, sympathy. How did you first find out about all this stuff? Like, it was after your suicide attempt or before?
Oh, before and after. Just to clarify, sympathy and empathy, there's a difference as well. In the book, it's more empathy. It's empathizing with other people. Right. So it's that you can quite interesting.
Oh yeah, I've written down. I just can't read my own writing.
That's right.
I'll put my glasses on
because
now.
that's another thing. It's the power of words and language is so important, and that's the thing that can. We talked about self-worth, and it even comes in what you say to yourself internally and externally. Like I mentioned, I'm an idiot. It's like, no, you're not an idiot. Watch what you say. It's those words, and then what happens sometimes is people say to other people, "Oh, you're an idiot." It's actually they're projecting that because they feel that they're an idiot. So it's really interesting, and that's where the knowledge comes from. So in answer to your question, it came from before I did a degree in psychology and sociology, because I was interested in people, human behavior. I've always found it fascinating. I still do. So it came from that, and then I had my own situation, relationship breakdown. I was a new father, lots of stress, work stress, and then it all kind of escalated into the stage where I wasn't looking after myself. I was unhealthy. I wasn't eating correctly. I wasn't sleeping, and then it kind of went from there. So I had a base knowledge of psychology and sociology from my degree, and once you've done a degree, it actually creates more questions, and it's a starting point to that specific knowledge. So that's where it started, and then because I'm a lifelong learner as well, and that's in the, and I suggest that.
That's good.
I love to.
That's when I find I'm really, really uptight. It's when I'm learning something.
Yeah, because you want to. Because it's frustrating because sometimes you don't quite. You want to understand. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, that's where it's come from. It's the passion and the interest, and that creates that energy to live. Oh. Excuse me.
I hope it's not COVID.
No.
Lucky you're in the other room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's another thing. It reminds me about the use of words. You got social distancing, and I'm doing inverted commas now with my hands. Social distancing, and it's actually physical distancing. And it's like, why social distancing? So it's interesting using, the being aware of how others use words, how you use words, the power of language. It can actually have an effect. Actually, I'm not social. Yeah, I you can be social over the phone.
Wow, that is profound.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
that is very
be
interesting.
Mindful how people use social distancing, physical distancing.
It is definitely physical distancing.
I find it fascinating. That's where it comes from. Is me. Every single day, I want to learn more. I want to, it spurs another bit of interest. So
the media has their ways of saying things.
True, yeah, and it's coming out now. You'll see more in the media. Even we talked about the online as well, didn't we? Like those you get dopamine hits from going online. Taking selfies, getting a like, it's like it gives you a hit, and it's not healthy.
No.
Anyway, but there's if you're in control of it, just
well, it's worrying for the children in particular. I've got children. It's like, just get off your phone already.
Yeah, but it's difficult.
I'm just doing another Instagram.
Yeah, I do like social media.
My dragon. I don't care about the Instagram post. No,
actually, my son said that. My son, Zach, he's 5, he's 16. I really want to have a YouTube channel. I'm like, hold up. I was like, okay, well, that's
a good idea, though.
Yeah, I know it is, because it's obviously with with parental boundaries and control. But if it's a way to promote confidence and creativity, and if that's what he wants to do, that's cool. But it's just interesting how social media is all encompassing, and it's pretty interesting. As long as you can have some, self control there, and good parenting boundaries, it can be a good thing. At the same time, being aware of how it's actually in the design of the actual social media. It creates a bit of addiction, so you keep going there, you keep doing it. No, just one more, Mum, just one more.
It's definitely a way to keep us out of the pubs and clubs and shops and everything. We can just sit there staring. I don't need to go anywhere. It's all here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I think it's a good idea. I've got she's 13 now, my youngest, but she started up her YouTube channel. I think she was 8.
Wow.
Yeah, and she loved it, and they did it for a couple of years. My oldest Sonny, did the editing. It's called Mondays with Michaela.
Cool.
But
learning new skills as well, because you're going to need a lot of these new skills are going to be important as well, and it's valuable.
In the future.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, enough about all of that. So, you're an advocate for meditation.
100%, yeah.
Why do you think it's good?
Meditation is good. It's not just good. It is awesome. It is absolutely fantastic. It's great because it is it. Basically, it helps you to stop and think, or stop and pause. And this example of the pandemic and COVID, it's actually helped us to stop and pause for a few moments. At the same time, it's really easy to go on be an autopilot. You get up, go to work, come back, and you get into a habit of autopilot, and that can be detrimental to your life because you can not pause and think about, where am I now? What am I doing? What have I done in the past? What am I doing in the future? What am I doing here? And what the main thing about meditation, it gets you in the present. It helps you to really focus on the now, and that's all we really have. And what meditation does, it helps you to get to know who you are. It helps you to be yourself. It helps you to learn about what your relationship is to yourself, and then more importantly, your relationship to the rest of the world, to other people, to how you're connected to everything else. And what meditation does with the repetition, I do it every single morning, 9 minutes, and I find meditation has been one of the most important daily practices for my mental health, for my physical health. Being able to navigate the morning, navigate the day, helps creativity. It helps my mind become stronger. I like to look at it as meditating is like going to the mind gym instead of going to the gym to work out. Gym for physical muscles, and that's really important. At the same time, you're working out your mind muscles, and your brain, and your meditation really helps you to build a strong, solid mind and mindset for everything else. And there's so many benefits as well. It helps you to sleep better, helps you to think better, helps you to have less stress, helps you to be calmer. It helps you to connect with yourself and other people more, because you can get in the present moment. And it's a practice, and I'm still practicing, and I'm definitely better, but I've got a lot more work to do at this. What I would recommend for other people who haven't tried meditation or tried it and given up because it is difficult.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's like a new skill, learning a new skill. It's frustrating. You talked about, I just want to understand things now. But
I'm giving this up. I don't understand.
So it's like, I can highly recommend for you to just give it a go and just practice, and it will get better. It will get. It's like you go to the gym and you work out for a couple of days. You're not going to have a six pack straight away. I mentioned it in the book as well. You're going to. It's going to take a while, and you'll get stronger. Highly recommend meditation. Do it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for that. Actually, on that, when I first started meditating, the first thing I heard when I went to go, I can't even remember who said it to me, but I went on YouTube, and the first thing that I picked up was like, just say your name internally for 1 minute and see if you can actually focus on saying your own name. And like I'd probably said, Simone. Oh, I wonder what time the dinner is. And it's like, I can't even do it for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's one way. Yeah, that's one way of doing it, because as long as you start, because there's lots of different ways of.
I'm better at it now. I can do it more than a minute, and I don't have to say my name to myself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's just the start. Even if you do it for 1 second, it's even that. Even if you inhale and focus on 1 second on focusing on that inhale, that's meditating and starting. And then it's building up from there.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so tips for other writers now. How has your life changed by publishing your book?
It has changed massively because the main thing about writing a book, it's the process and who you become and what you learn about yourself, about learning new skills. It changes who you are by going through the process. It is so challenging and difficult at the same time. Once you've gone through that, and I'm sure lots of authors would potentially agree with me there, it can change who you are because you've done the work. You put the work. It's like you've become a person who said, I'm going to write a book. You don't just talk about it, you write about it. And I've talked about it in the past. I've written it and it's done.
Yeah.
So I've taken action. I've done the book. It's
apparently only 2% of people that say I'm going to write a book or that start actually end.
Wow.
2%.
It wouldn't surprise me because it's really hard.
So you're amazing.
Oh, that's so cool. Great to hear that. So for me, it's changed my life in a sense where I'm stronger for doing it. And also there's many other benefits as well. For even talked about the power of words. For example, I proudly call myself an author. I am an author. I am Adam Bowcutt. I am an author. Being an author is a great thing because it builds that credibility. And even with the word author, it means authority. So I am an author. I'm an authority on this topic: mindset, mental health, building confidence after depression. So it opens up more doors and opportunities to help you on your mission. At the same time, it adds more value to what you can give to the world as well. So becoming an author, for example, doing podcasts, you can do interviews, you can write about your book, you can do speaking, blogging. Yeah, it opens up so much more. So if you're one of those people who are, I want to write a book, do it.
Do it. Do it.
Do it
now. Hurry up.
Do it now.
That's cool. So did you self-publish?
I did,
or how'd you go about that?
Yeah, I did. I self-published. I looked into, I used a company called Ex Libris, and I self-published. And I ended up, getting some support there. So
did they do the editing for you, or did you do your own editing? Or?
No, well, I did. It's a bit of both, really, because you can have different options. So there's a couple of options where you have, one or two editing sections where you write it, someone will edit it for you or do the checking, and then there's a lot of signatures. I signing this off, signing that off, making sure that you're taking responsibility for your decisions on your work, which is fine. So there's definitely good help there to outsource it and have a self-publish and have a company that can help you, because these days it's very, I can imagine, I looked into it a little bit, it's very difficult to pick up a publisher.
Like traditional publishing.
But at the same time, because of the landscape of media and how it's changing, it's kind of changing now anyway with social media and self-publishing and self-media as well. There's a lot of things, even what we're doing right now, we're doing a podcast.
Exactly.
So and it can be uploaded, and if people want to listen to it, they can. It's a lot flatter now, the landscape for people to create their own content. Whether it's a book, podcast, and it can get out there. So
just depends the topic and the people that want to hear that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or see it or read it or whatever.
Exactly. So there's lots of options out there. You can self-publish. You can go to a local publisher who can you can edit it yourself, or you can outsource it. You can get someone else to edit it. There's so many options out there. And you can just Google it. So it's just taking action to get discerning on what kind of path you're going to take. But definitely recommend to take the first step.
So write that first word. I'm just going to go back one more time. Are you glad that you made the decision to self-narrate your book, or would you have preferred someone else to do it?
Good question. Initially, I didn't really want to do it because I knew I think I was thinking the time it's going to take, and I thought that someone else, because I didn't have the experience, I thought someone else would, do a better job. At the same time, what you said, Simone, you suggested it'd be better because of the topic of the book. It's it's quite a touching and strong and deep topic. Mental health and
there could only be you doing that.
And I took that on and I thought, okay, that makes sense. And then I'm so, in hindsight, retrospectively and looking back, I'm so glad that you suggested that and recommended that, because it is definitely the best decision that I made to self-narrate. It's got my own tone, my own voice, my own experience, and I've put that energy into the audiobook, and I really, really am confident that people will get a great insight into the book, into the messages, the clear messages as well.
Yeah, wicked. I could stay here and chat
Me
with you
too.
all day.
So I could talk for hours on it.
Yeah. This is really, really cool. But if I talk to you too much, then people just need to listen to this podcast and not your audio book, because I don't want to give away too many secrets.
There you go.
But I would certainly highly recommend Adam's book, Confide, The New Psychology of Confidence, because I was feeling 10 foot tall and bulletproof by the end of it, just thinking, there are ways that you can combat mental illness that's going to make you feel like you're actually worth something. And Adam's book is where to find that. So where do people find more about you?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm super grateful for you saying that. And,
I mean that.
No, it's so great. And that's definitely, I really appreciate that. And one other thing, you posted on your page, it's a social media Facebook page, game changer, and I read that, I was like, I really appreciate that. That's so awesome. That's cool. So again, the power of words and sharing that, so I really appreciate that. So you can find the book distributed globally online through Amazon, Google Books, Barnes and Noble, but I would highly recommend for you to go directly to my website, adambowcutt.com.au, and just click on order, and then there's the options come up there. You can get it in
cool. That way you get to keep the royalties.
Yeah, exactly. I get a little bit more. Yeah, keep it local. Yeah,
you get to feed Zach.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get it in hardback, softback, and eventually it will be an audiobook soon. I'm really excited for that. Yeah,
I'm really excited. I've got the pleasure of editing and putting it together, which is really cool. I love listening to authors deliver their title, and I love editing. Anybody that hears someone saying they love editing thinks that person's crazy. Yeah. But people do. I mean, I do. I love editing, and I get a second listen, so I, can go back and consolidate all that information. So, but when I get that done, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we will pop it up, and you'll be able to get it at all those main media outlets like Amazon, Audible, Google Play, iTunes, etc.
Definitely, yeah, and I really, really appreciate you helping me with this, and I'm excited for it to go out to as many people as possible. They can listen to it through the audiobook and get on with whatever they're doing and listen to it at the same time. And
we can start saving those 500,000 lives.
Yes.
Yeah. Suicide prevention. What's the name of the other company that you've got there that we were talking about before?
Oh, Victory Against Suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an organisation that I started to really help and focus on the suicide prevention. So I initially with a Facebook page to help consistently put the messages out there. I have a bit of an association with the book. There's 2% of the sales go to Lifeline.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's when you buy the book, charity will go a percentage to the charity, which will effectively help people who are on the phones, helping people in vulnerable straight away. So that's really helpful. And then also that's Lifeline, and then Victory Against Suicide is the organization that I started to really make sure that I'm accountable to that and to keep that mission going with all the other things I'm doing. So I'm doing the book, I'll be doing the public speaking as well, and eventually in schools as well, and also through the audiobook, blog posts, podcasts like this, and so many different other avenues to get that message out there.
Yeah, and if you have been contemplating suicide, 13 11 14 is Lifeline's number. And don't think, oh look, I'm never going to ring Lifeline. Just ring Lifeline. I've been down so low that I've actually run Lifeline, and they've helped me.
Good,
and they will help you. And then next thing you do after you do that, you go and get Adam Bowcutt's book, Confide, the New Psychology of Confidence. And you'll be a different man or woman by the end of that book, let me tell you.
100%. And I really appreciate you being and it's that vulnerability as well. I really acknowledge and appreciate you sharing that, because that can save lives.
Yeah.
It can build that. You're leading by example. You're sharing something about yourself, and it's a strength, and that's strong.
Well, so good to talk to you. Thanks for popping in, doing your audiobook and staying for a chat.
Yeah, thanks, Simone. It's
all
been
the
great.
best. I can't wait to see your progress. I'm looking forward to you saving lives. And
yes. Thanks
on you,
so much for the
mate.
opportunity. All right, cheers, man.
Thanks for joining me
Thank you.
and my guests from around the world.
Thank you for being a part of this show.
The Simone Feiler Podcast. Catch you next time.
It's a wrap.